What's going on, all of my big brother peeps out there? It is your boy Deluxe Dave, and I'm here to talk about the very first episode of Big Brother 23, which premiered this past Wednesday. I could not wait to get back from my trip. I'm a flight attendant, much like Brent Champagne, which is on the show. But a lot of people are saying that, he said he was an international flight attendant, but I'm hearing word on the street because, we stick together that he may not be as international as we think because of his seniority. So I'm not sure, Brent Champagne, but I'm glad to see you on there for real, for real. I love when flight attendants get on there and represent because that just opens the doors for more flight attendants to come through maybe on a future season of Big Brother. Anyway, I could not wait to get back to talk about this. I wanted to do it the Thursday after, but it was a 4-day trip, and I wanted to make sure I gave it my all. I had all my notes written down that day, and so let's jump right into the episode. I was so happy to see Julie Chen back. I love Julie Chen. I have a special place in my heart for Julie Chen. And the first group that came out was all guys, so they split it up into guys, girls, guys, girls. They did it like that, 4 each. And the first people that came out were Travis, Derek F., Frenchie, and Xavier. Now, I talked about what I thought about these people last week when I did like the cast review, and I have different opinions now. Like I told you, it can all change once you really get to know people and you start to see the true colors come out. So I was very amped. I was thinking I was going into the house, and the way that they entered the house though, y'all, I'm gonna need y'all to be a little bit more excited. Being the first group in, Julie was like, "Are y'all ready to go?" And they were like, "Crickets, crickets, crickets." And I was like, okay, like I need y'all to be a little bit more amped. Y'all been waiting all summer. Some people wait a lifetime to get into the Big Brother house. So I need y'all to be more excited. But, the future people that got on, the rest of the people, they kind of got amped later on. But Xavier was very serious to me. Now, I still am putting him he was up here at first and he kind of dropped down to like right about here. This being the bottom, this right here. Xavier dropped to about that because of his, he's really serious. He said he want to get in those showmances. I think he can escape doing the showmances on the episode. We'll see if he can hold true to that. I think he'll be able to do it, him being a lawyer. I did like, just like Cody said on one of the little snips that I was watching about the very first episode, Cody got on there from the past season, and he basically was saying that, them not introducing or saying what their occupations was a good idea, which I totally agree with because people already have notions in there about who and what you are. I don't even think they should tell ages in there. So we'll see when I'm recording this before the Sunday episode because I wanted to make sure that I just talked about specifically the first episode. So make sure y'all see if they talk about ages, that's where it can get a little tricky because people start counting you out when you start saying your age. So I do not think that they need to say their ages. But we also had Derek that came in there, Derek F. I have to separate the Dereks because there's Derek F, which is Derek Frazier, and that's, Joe Frazier's, his son. So he was up in there, and I feel like he is running a good game. I felt very sorry for him. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but we'll talk about that. Anyway, so the rest of them came in there. They went into the house excited, blah, blah. The girls that came on next all came prepared looking great, besides Brittany. So it was Asa, I know how to say her name now because she said it on the show, Asa, Brittany, Alyssa, and Whitney. Now, Brittany came jogging pants, ready, like she was ready to already. She knew she was coming in there to do a battle, and she was like, I'm coming ready. All of them, the rest of them were like dressed in these beautiful little long dresses, looking real nice. But I felt like I related the most with Asa. You know why? She was a pastor's kid. Pastor's kids, we get it. I was a pastor's kid at a certain point in time. So I get it, being with the family. I'm sure her family didn't even want her to come on here, but, we're going to do what we're going to do. When it comes down to it, we're going to do what we're going to do. So I'm sure they came down there. But all the rest of the girls look beautifully dressed. They came prepared. And we're going to talk about the battle in a minute. I just want to do introductions right now. The third group that came in was Kylan, Christian, Derek X, and Brent. Now, I believe that Kylan is going to work off his looks, just from what I'm seeing. I don't know. He really didn't do much in this first episode, so I do believe kind of that he may work off of the looks department. I do see him maybe getting into a showmance, possibly. We'll see what happens, but I feel like that is going to be his MO. We'll see. And then the person that surprised me, because remember last week I said Travis was the person that reminded me of Tyler. Well, I am switching that around. Christian is giving me all of the Tyler vibes. He is giving me the beautiful lock hair, all of that. And he's giving me those more Tylerish vibes. And why do I mention Tyler? Because Tyler was able to sustain and last so long in the competition. So I think he'll be able to play off of some of those things and maybe use some of the same strategy Tyler used. We'll see what happens. And finally, Brent. I just want to mention Brent real quick from that group. Derek X, nothing stood out really, but he's very in shape and everything like that. So we'll see what happens with that. But Brent was a little too serious for my taste. He's a flight attendant. You're supposed to have a little bit more, he's very serious, very focused. So he might end up, I don't want to say it too soon. I hope he doesn't end up being like the jerk of the season or something like that. We will see. But right now he's giving me very serious vibes, and everything like that. Like he's came laser focused. We'll see. He might get off track. I'm really interested to see how he plays this game. So the last and final group that came out was Sarah, Hannah, Claire, and Tiffany. Let me mention real quick about Claire. Claire is a replacement because I did not get to come back on here to talk about the replacement. Last week we had our girl, Christy Valdesari. She had to exit the competition because she tested positive for COVID. So she would not make it in time to come back and be on the show, which sucks for her. I hope they let her come back at a future time because I was really looking forward to seeing her. She had the bald head and she looked like she was going to be a little rebel. So I was looking forward to seeing her come out, but unfortunately I didn't get to see that. And oh well, but you know what? Claire's supposed to be there because we're going to talk about what she did in the competition in just one moment. We also had up there, we had Sarah. Okay, now let me just say this about Sarah real quick. I got to pull my notes over here for this. So Sarah has a Nicole Franzel voice to me. There's always one person on the show of Big Brother, let me just explain this, that is always going to have a voice that irritates the eardrum for me. And Nicole Franzel, even though I teased it, and it was cute, and that's why I say bye Julie I'm going to do it at the end of each one of these, because that was Nicole. Bye Julie, or hi Julie. She always did that. And that was just, it's not terribly annoying, but it was just on your ear. It's like, ugh. So Sarah has that voice, so already I'm kind of turned off, but she might surprise me. But right now, from that voice, when she started talking, I was like, oh, girl. Okay, anyhow. So then Tiffany came out, and she seemed like she was a little bit tough. She came out real tough, but she is the oldest in the competition, like I said, and she's a family woman, and I see her going a long way. But she's tough. She Detroit tough, I think. Yeah, I think she's from Detroit. But yes, Tiffany's going to come out real strong. But another person that really surprised me and turned me a little bit off was Hannah. I don't know why Hannah kind of turned me off, but I feel like she's going to use evil tactics later on down the line from what she was saying in her beginning. But sometimes people really, after they get into the house and get to know people, they change their strategy. So I hope that Hannah does not keep the same strategy. She's a beautiful girl. I want to see her go far in the competition. But I feel like if she does that, backstabbing and doing it, that can go either which way. So we're in for, I can already tell. I'm so glad even Claire is here because she's from Ohio, I'm from Ohio too, but that's the Ohio connection. And I feel like she is showing up and showing out because she ended up winning the competition for, maybe being the HOH. So there was this whole big thing that came together where they had to all match up like these signs. They each group came in, they matched up the signs, and then the ones that were chosen to be the HOH, or to be in the running for HOH, the winners of that basically were the leaders. So we had out of each one, Frenchie won in the first game. We had Whitney win in the second game. We had Christian win in the third game. And we had Claire win in the fourth game. So they made up a group for each one. And so now we learn the names of the teams because this year, like I said, they're going to be split into teams, but it has to be equal boys, equal girls on each team, which we found out from Julie. So we have the Jokers, the Aces, the Kings, and the Queens. Those are the groups that are going to be coming together. So now they have to choose their teams. So basically, it was like a head to head. And then from those impressions, they had to choose which person was going to go, on which team. Now, I must say, I feel like some people used the wrong strategy for this also. People were just, I feel like, and this is where I get into the thing about Derek F. I think that people were thinking about physicality first in some of the groups and like who can win competitions physically. But Big Brother is not, it is about some physical aspects, but in all reality, it is also about your mental state, the people that you think you can get along with, emotionally, because there's probably going to be little headbutts somewhere along the line with some of the groups. So it's very, you should be picking that way. I felt like, and I felt like some people made the wrong decision. And I think what happened with Derek, if he had said like, I'm Joe Frazier, related to, and all that, they might have thought a little bit differently and might have brought him along. But I'm glad he's not using that. He's not throwing that card out right now. He's just going to sit in the cut and be like, all right, I'm here. And y'all going to underestimate me, as we found out later. So each of the groups was split up, and here's how it went. So from the very first one, we had Frenchie had to choose between Hannah and Asa, and he chose Queen Asa, which I was very happy about that because I'm like an Asa fan already. I don't know why, but I'm like gravitating toward Asa, so we'll see. Frenchie still has not mentioned that. He didn't mention it on the show, but it was in his notes. Now, if they wrote that wrong in the article, that's them, but he said he was a member of the NAACP, so maybe he was trying to mix his group, which he did a perfect mixture. I think he had, like as far as like the diversity in his group, it's mixed equally. And I think that's a good way to do it also. So you're not, it's not all, either people that are over here that are like the oddballs, that are like the blacks over here, or it's the white. It's not separate. It's just a diverse group. And I like the way he picked. So then we had Brittany had to choose between, then we had Brent and Travis. And then from that group. So Brent and Travis were the next ones up in Whitney's group. She ended up choosing Brent Champagne because, he came out pretty strong. Then we had Alyssa and Tiffany. She chose Alyssa, or Christian chose Alyssa. I keep calling Christian a girl. I don't know why I keep doing that. Anyway, Christian chose Alyssa. And then we had Kylan and Xavier. And Kylan was chosen again. Like I said, I believe Kylan was chosen because of the look, physical things and everything like that. So the next group, it was between Sarah Beth and Brittany. Brittany was chosen, Brittany ready to battle. And I think that was a good choice by Frenchie. Whitney had to choose between Derek X and Derek F. She chose Derek X. Now, this is one of the bad decisions I was talking about with Whitney. I feel like she should have chosen Derek F because I feel like altogether, Derek X, it's not that he wasn't giving me like, hype. He was kind of like dull. And I was like, how is that going to go? Is he going to stand it? Like, is he going to lay in the cut? Is he going to be competitive? What is he going to do? I felt like there was a lot more spunk that came from Derek X. I felt like it was a bad decision. We'll see if it paid off later on. It actually didn't. But anyway, she picked Derek X. Then again, Xavier went against Derek's F. Now, I could see why. Again, I think it was physical. So again, Derek F was pushed to the side and Xavier was chosen for Christian's team. Then we had Sarah Beth and Tiffany. Tiffany was chosen instead of Sarah Beth. And I kind of wondered why that was. And maybe because Sarah Beth didn't talk about her smarts in that. She didn't really mention that, so she wasn't talking about I'm a forensic scientist and all that and what she can actually bring to the table with that. But that might have been a good choice for Claire. Then we had the last, basically groups that headed off were Travis and Derek on Frenchie's team. And he ended up choosing Derek F, which I was happy about that. I'm glad that he was chosen. Then Hannah and Sarah B, and Hannah was chosen over Sarah. And then basically whoever was left went on the other team. So they had to split it up, like I said, boy and girl evenly. So Sarah went to the Kings and Travis went to the Queens. So now we have our groups. Everything is set and we are ready to, we're ready to go. But now we have to pick an HOH. So we get it all together. And then from there, they have to do this thing where they're having to build basically like a tower, and each one of them is holding it at each end. So they have to balance it out on all the ends, trying to see like what is gonna, so it doesn't fall, and have to ring the buzzer before the tower falls. So out of all the groups, can you believe it was intense, but the Jokers pulled it out. Frenchie's team, which made me even like Frenchie even more. The diversity they had in this group, I think people doubted that they would get it. You know what I'm saying? And I just love how they were able to pull out that win. Y'all doubted my dude, Derek F. And now they won. And he became the HOH, but they had a twist on it because Frenchie actually had a chance to go, and basically they made a deal. He had to roll these two dice onto the table and, land them both on there in order to, be able to basically be immune the next week. So he could accept it or not accept the immunity for the second week, but he would lose his HOH privileges and it would go to Claire for the Queens if he was not able to do it in the amount of time. And he chose to decline it, which I think was a great decision. This is too early in the game to be taking risks like that. Keep it like it is. You are the HOH. You get to make these decisions. You get to last another week, even though your whole team would have been immune. That was a great decision, I think, on his behalf, even though he did end up landing both the dice on there in the allotted time. He had like 4 seconds left. So that blew my mind. So you see why I like to save all of this, because I'm glad I'm talking about it, because some people haven't had a chance to watch it, even that first episode. So I'm recapping everything and giving my opinion on it, but I want to make sure that I don't give any spoilers. But in case you missed it, you can always come here to listen and I talk about it. So basically what Julie announced was big, 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 big. I would have loved to have been on this season. So instead of $500,000 this year, Julie did announce that $750,000 is going to be the new amount for this season, which made the stakes even higher. Y'all are almost going to be millionaires on this season of Big Brother. I am very excited about this season altogether. I can't wait for this new episode to come out. There is going to be another episode that premiered yesterday, because I'm promoting this on Monday. And then on Wednesday, there's going to be a brand new episode. So what I've decided to do, because of my rigorous schedule sometimes with flying around and doing everything that I'm doing with flying, I wanted to make sure that in some moments, they might not be as long as these episodes, but I'm going to do something called On BB Blast. So BB on Blast. I'm going to call it something like that. BB on Blast, BB, something like that. So BB on Blast, where I'm going to do a quick synopsis of maybe a Sunday episode that I might have watched I just had to talk about, or maybe it'll be a Wednesday episode. So you might get two of these episodes, a long episode from the previous week and then another On Blast episode so I can talk about the Sunday episode. So maybe 2 in one day. But I wanted to make sure I did that because there are certain moments in Big Brother which are shockers, and they got to be talked about immediately, right from the spot. So like in moments when I can't always get back here to talk about it right away, like this had to wait till I recorded this Sunday for the Monday episode, I wanted to make sure I give you some extra stuff. So be looking out for those BB on Blast also, where I'll just holler out what I thought about, that episode, and then I can move on to the next episode after that. So make sure y'all are tuning in, because I'm telling you, this season is going to be amazing. Let me see if there was anything that I missed here. Did I miss anything? Julie announced the prizes. Let me give you who I think is going to do really well in this game. I'm going to give you my top 3, like I said I was going to do last week. Already, Frenchie is going to be the threat. I already know it. Like they're underestimating the farm dude. They counted him out, and whenever you're on there first, they're always going to come for you. But I believe Frenchie will be able to avoid it if he can do well in the physical competitions. I hope they don't knock him out, because he's already one of my favorites already. Frenchie is going to do well. I don't know. I'm not going to say Asa yet, even though I like her. I feel like she might be one of the ones to fade into the background and not want to do much. So I'm going to put that to the side. Claire is another one I am watching, even though she was the eyeball and came in at the last minute. So I believe Frenchie, Claire, and let me see who else I would pick. And Brittany. Let me just put Brittany out there, because I think that Brittany is very competitive, just the way that she came dressed. I may be totally off with my predictions. So right now I'm giving it to my top 3, people who I think are going to be successful. are Frenchie, Brittany, and Claire. Now, if those are the first three people out, I might not be a good judger of Big Brother character, but we've only got one episode. We can only tell by what we've seen with these first competitions and how they worked on a team and how they chose as a team. But right now, I feel like those are the people that are kind of standing out to me and are coming on, really, really strong. Another thing I love about Brittany, too, is that she is doing this. She has autism, and she is going to bring so much awareness to autism in general, and just for her to be out here, I know she's inspiring so many people with that. So it's good to see people like that in the Big Brother house. That's why I love this diverse house. This diverse house is so good. I love that there's so many people from different walks of everything, and it makes for a good season. You guys know how much I love Big Brother. Anyway, make sure you catch me. I will be back here next Monday with a full recap of Wednesday's episode, unless something really, really, really good happens, or an eviction. Something happens with that eviction on Thursday, and I got to talk about it. It's going to get talked about as soon as I can. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do what I can do, but make sure you catch this episode of Big Brother every Sunday, every Wednesday, every Thursday on CBS. I will holla at y'all very soon. Bye, Julie.